Right.
And of course, to hit, you got to have a little bit of a negative to create a positive going forward. You're just not going to go from here straight to the ball.
Right.
So a lot of guys, instead of just loading like this, he would just take a little step back.
Okay.
And that's kind of what he taught. And all it is a timing, just to kind of load and get you started. And for me, it was like I did it a little bit. It was like I stood probably about this far from the plate, slightly open, and I would have been just about like this right here.
And how much would you crouch?
Not much.
Okay.
I was about like this.
Okay.
And then, as the pitcher started into his delivery, I would take a little step back like that and then go.
Okay.
And if I felt like I was a little late on a pitch, then I knew that assuming, let's say it was a fastball, and I was just a little late, fouled it back off this way, then in order to catch up with that fastball, I would just do this just a fraction sooner at some point in the pitcher's delivery that would get me, caught up,
Right.
so to speak.
Right.
And my stride would go from here to about right there, kind of in that position right there,
Right.
where I was slightly closed and had the plate covered. And again, my strength was back up this way and to my opposite field.
Right. So we're here with Rance Mulliniks at his new baseball academy in Visalia, California. And Rance, give us a full swing at full speed, even though.
You're asking me to run the risk of hurting myself.
But even though
I'm not going to say this is full speed.
Well, embarrassingly, we're having Rance use a wiffle bat.
Yeah,
So.
it's as good as it's going to be today.
Okay.
But it would have been kind of like that.
Okay. Now do that again but do it in slow motion and kind of explain when you teach kids how you take the bat through the zone there.
Well, what kept me in good position through the hitting zone was, I make this move and I land kind of in a closed position here. So and the only way I could, I could pull off the ball, I'd have to do like this.
Right.
But as long as I stayed right here, the head stayed down and I stayed through the baseball.
Right
here, I'm in great position. You can see I'm extended. I have the plate covered. Very strong position right here, and then the follow through just brings you kind of on and up and out. But
so when you follow through, you kind of your wrists kind of turn over a little bit.
Everything. If I go slow motion, I'm here, I swing, I drive all the way through the baseball, and as I get out here, you can see the hands are starting to roll over.
Right.
And the momentum of the swing would actually make this back foot drag as I finished up.
Right.
But that doesn't matter at that point. What matters is where you are right here.
Right.
That's what matters.
Right.
That's why you see guys that start with hands up, hands lower, bat flat, bat here. You see a lot of different styles or where a player will start from. But if you took a picture from the side when they're hitting, aside from some guys maybe a little more upright, some guys a little more cropped, whatever it might be, you looked at them from the set, and you'd almost say, you really can't tell much difference at all.
Right.
At the point of impact with a good swing.
Right. You did a lot of conditioning throughout your career, right? And
I did weightlifting. Yeah, probably the last 7 or 8 years I played. Lifted weights seriously in the off season.
Yeah.
Not so much during the season, just light work to kind of try to maintain a little.
And what was the most important? I mean, was it a lot of leg work and core work?
It was. I had 12 upper body exercises, 10 lower body exercises, and that did not include core work. And then I had some core exercises. It would take me. I'd work out. I'd go 6 days a week, 3 days upper body, 3 days lower body, all 6 days core.
Yeah.
And it would take me typically. With a minute or two rest in between reps, 2 hours to go through my routine.
Great.
Because some would have a maximum of 3 reps, depending on the weight, and a few exercises as many as 15 reps in a set.
Yeah.
So it just depended on the exercise and the muscle that was involved, that sort of thing. So.
Right.
Yeah, and I recommend it for. There are some guys that are naturally big and strong that maybe really don't need weightlifting, but I think most athletes do and can benefit from it. Of course, a weight program for a baseball player is going to be different than weight program for a linebacker in the NFL, most certainly. So you need
Yeah.
somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Right.
The guy that initially set me up with my strength program was a guy named Gil Reyes in El Paso, Texas. He had a gym and was a strength coach over at New Mexico State in Las Cruces. I believe that's right. And did some coaching as well. Long story short, a few years later, he left El Paso and has since was the trainer for the Running Rebels at UNLV, and then hooked up with Andre Agassi and has been his personal trainer, business partner, as well as, I think, somewhat of a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Who's
man.
your bodyguard, Rance?
I don't. I'm not famous enough that I need one. So.